It's Radio BDC live from Boston Calling, powered by Xfinity. I am Adam 12, and I am woefully underdressed when I sit down with Holly and Jess from Lucius. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi. Great.
It's great to see you. I have to say, and this is no disrespect to the artist that you're replacing on the on the lineup, but when I heard that you were joining the Boston Calling lineup, I was elated because I missed you the last time you played.
Well, we're super excited to be back here where we first met.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
It feels like a homecoming, and but we're wishing Chet Faker that speedy recovery. I know he had a serious injury.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it's kind of like in sports where, if someone goes down in the lineup, you got to come in with the replacement. So I'm curious, as I'm sure a lot of people are. So what was the timeline? Because this all happened just within the last week. So like 3 days ago. So they reached out to you guys. How fast did the whole thing turn around? How did it happen?
Can we do it? Yes. You're going.
It was that easy. That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
It's good to have that kind of flexibility, and I guess they caught you guys at the right time because you guys are kind of in between cycles right now. So
yeah, we're recording our new record, and so for the first time in a while, we've been in one place. So it kind of worked out perfectly.
Very good. Are you talk a little bit, Holly, about the recording? How's it been going so far?
It's been going really good. We took some time to go to LA and kind of decompress after our tour. Our touring schedule, which was kind of nuts, and we got to write, and we wrote for a couple months, and then we jumped into the studio, and we've just been experimenting, having a lot of fun, and we're still going, but it's going really well. I'm super excited.
You guys, you did tour for a long time on that first album.
Yeah.
A long time. So what was the first thing, and I'll start with you, Jess, what was the first thing you did after all of your touring was over? What was the first thing you did?
Nothing for
Nothing
about
at all?
5 days.
Nice, very good.
5 days, and then we started writing for the new record. We didn't, we were touring so much we didn't have time to work on it. So we just really we were ready to be creative again. Even though we were on tour, meeting people and fulfilling another type of musical expression. It's different than sitting down at a piano.
Sure.
With your notebook and coming up with something new. So it was about 2.5 months of that, and now recording.
Well, I've seen that you have a couple of other one-off dates. In fact, you'll be back here at the end of the summer. Well, not the end of the summer, but in August, the 14th. I saw you guys are booked to play the ICA, which is fantastic.
Yes.
That's exciting. How did that come about? Did they reach out to you, or did you kind of like say, oh, maybe it's not the best thing to take that long off. Maybe we should kind of play a gig here and there to kind of keep our chops up? Because I know sometimes that's the case.
Yeah, I'm not completely certain how it came about, but I know Aaron Dessner was in charge of kind of curating something, and he's a neighbor of ours, and asked us to be a part of it. So we were really excited.
It's great. It's funny too. Your aesthetic lends itself to playing. Like, not every act can play, at the ICA. A lot of acts it wouldn't make sense, but Lucius makes sense because you guys have that multi-dimension of music and art and fashion that you kind of all blended together into what you guys do and the art that you create.
Thank you.
That being said, you're welcome. It's interesting too, where you can kind of be almost chameleon-esque, where you can play the outdoor festival in the middle of the day and it makes sense. You can play the small club gig and it makes sense. You can play at the ICA and it makes sense. So where you've kind of been able to do that over the course of your career so far, play all these different gigs, these different venues, these different vibes, if you will. Name for me one. And I'll ask you, Holly, name for me one that kind of stands out, that was maybe a little bit out of the ordinary, that's not necessarily hey, we played this club in D.C. and it was cool. Like, what's kind of a unique venue or a unique venue that comes to mind, or a unique gig that comes to mind?
Well, we were talking about this earlier. I guess Mass Mocha, we did the Solid Sound Festival.
Right, uh-huh.
And that was, like you were saying, like a combination of art and music and vibes, and it's in the middle of a beautiful setting, and so I guess that was a really special.
It's really artful, but it's also very family oriented.
Yeah. Really good food. It was great. It was really great.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that we've been able to play with pop acts, and then in the same week go and sing with like Mavis Staples. Right. I think that's what I'm most excited about. Just being that chameleon and not feeling tied to one thing, kind of being able to do the unexpected and it making sense, because just because.
And you draw so many fans from so many different backgrounds. It's always interesting to see the crowd at a Lucius show because, if you go to a hardcore show, you know what you're going to get. You know the crowd that you're going to see. You go to Lucius show, and there's punk kids, there's kids that are into soul, there's older folks, younger folks. It's always interesting to kind of break down the demographic at a Lucius show. It's got to be refreshing though to look out into a crowd and see all these different walks of life enjoying your music.
I love when people come up to us and say, "This is the only music me and my daughter can agree on," or "This is the only music that my father and I can go see together and both love." I mean, that's the greatest compliment that it sort of transcends age. Because I mean, I don't know. We're just trying to make something that is meaningful to us and hopefully connects with a lot of people. And if it does, then we're doing something right.
Well, clearly it does. Clearly it does. We're looking forward to seeing you guys on stage at
Thank
Boston Calling
you.
later on today. We're looking forward to seeing you when you come back to the ICA in August. I'm going to actually come out to that gig. It's going to be a great gig.
Great.
That might be a good one to bring the kids to, come to think of it. Talking about, bonding with music, with having it transcend generations. That might be a good little venue. But we got to come back to you, Holly. What did you do after you finished the touring cycle and you decompressed? What did you do? Soaked your feet in Epsom salts. That was the first thing you did, right?
The very first thing we did after we got off tour was we decided, it'd be a good idea, drive from New York to California. That was the very first thing we did. We drove cross country
In 7 days.
Yeah.
That can be relaxing, though.
But it was, and it was different than being on tour and driving. It was listening to music. We got to actually stop places, experience stuff. We stopped in Santa Fe for a while.
Oh,
So
Santa Fe's gorgeous. I lived in New Mexico for a while.
Yeah,
it's a nice
kind
area.
of the dream drive. So
Yeah.
it was cool.
It was really dreamy, and we got to catch up on music that has nothing to do with us. Just listening to new tunes and kind of getting into some records. It was really peaceful.
I have to ask, and I know you're probably sick to death of it by now, but okay, did you also collaborate outfits when you were on your road trip, or does that end
No.
once you step off stage?
Accidentally
I'm putting
a
my
couple
sweatpants
times.
on. Oh, really? Is that right? Yeah.
That happens a lot. I'll see you at coffee. Okay, we're both wearing.
You guys are
Canadian
you guys are so
tuxedos.
dialed in.
Yeah.
You just got to start rocking a tuxedo T-shirt or something really way
there?
off to the left that
Yeah.
would be never enter into the Lucius wardrobe equation, so that it's not gonna. Hey, look, I have clown shoes on. Beat that, Holly and Jess from Lucius, thank you so much for taking
Thank
time
you.
out. We're live here at Boston Calling, powered by Xfinity on Radio BDC. We'll see you on stage.